least they got the one dragon, but they have to deal with this Jax on the side. They have to deal with the threat of this inhibitor top that's exposed. Could be taken out at any point. Now, once again, just going to take another turret off the map. Gen G just cleaning it up surgically.
They are, but the biggest difference is this, and we illustrated the mid lane mismatch in game number 1. That is once again there, but it's once again the blue side team, and the names have changed. Zeka is absolutely huge on his Azir this time around.
Yeah, all of that damage they had over Chovy is just killing people when they're setting up dives. And obviously they had that one fight on the Dragon where he did continue to do so and killed Lehens and stuff like that. Let's see what he does in a 5v5 fight, because he is well set up to pop off in said fight. But if Gen G just avoid fights and scale up the Aphelios and then keep taking turrets off the map, the objective is to kill the Nexus. So HLE need to somehow force a fight, maybe forcing a Baron, you know, grouping up over here, clearing some vision out, forcing Gen G to come to them. That could be the way that they end up having that amazing Azir fight here for Zeka, where he gets to utilize all that gold. The longer they wait, Keen's not. He's going to keep pushing. So you have to be decisive. You have to make an aggressive call to try to force that fight, or Gen G will just keep running around the map and outdoing you there. Doesn't matter how much gold you have, how many items you have as Zeka, if you can't fight anybody with them, as he's once again zoned away.
Yeah, and Canyon going to get Arctic assaulted here momentarily, but Blastcone is going to get both of the junglers to disengage. And Gen G understanding once again, they did have that little bit of, a forgetful moment where they didn't realize that the more they play in the neutral, the better it is for them if Jax is in a side lane.
Yeah.
And he was just before, so holding on to vision around the Baron, making sure that Hanwha Life Esports need to put in all of their resources to continue checking, continue trying to get vision.
Hanwha just,
let the Jax do his thing.
They just couldn't quite secure Baron, like the zone outside the Baron or deep vision. Had they done that a little bit faster, maybe Gen G has to send Keen over, right? Maybe they could threaten the start, but Gen G's reacted so quickly, they're like, all right, cool, now we're near Baron, but I still have a Jax in the side lane, so we can come over here and push you away. And Zeka's zoned out, doesn't get to do anything there, and we just keep getting a shot at this Jax, and Shojin done, building some MR now, and he's going to need it for Zeka, because Zeka is going Void Staff. Very likely to go Crypt Bloom as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty good item choice. He goes for the Rookern and then the Frozen Heart. And it really does show the state of the game as well, that he goes for Rookern first when it's likely Doran that's going to be matching him. Because he knows the real threat on Hanwha Life Esports right now is the bird. And, ooh, Peanut on a bit of a flank angle here. Going to be spotted out by a few of his ex-teammates.
Look at all the teleport wards Keen has, the observers are showing. He can come in at a crazy angle if Hanwha Life actually tried to do anything. Like, he can teleport anywhere and just set up an amazing flank counter-strike. And if he doesn't come, then he's just going to keep pushing. So, Hanwha Life, they have not cleared these wards. And let's see. Ward right there in the pixel bush right above them that he can teleport to. And Gen G will have to contest. There's the TP.
But also they're going to have to contest with Canyon as well, who does have the smite. So they go for the turn. Tidal Wave. Bubble is good. On to Keen to deny that flank. And now the Sand Soldier's doing some work. Canyon takes a full culling, but he's pretty tanky. And Peanut is just taking full damage here from Chovy. Throwing abilities left, right, and center.
Pull up the damage graphs. I want to see him. You know, how much did Chovy do in that fight?
Well, ask Doran, because he took most of it, as we can see. And he's still looking for more, speeding himself up, finds yet another delay.
I mean, minions are getting deleted in the bottom lane as well from that push that Keen set up before he teleported, so just more money lost for Hanwha Life. Gen G's macro here, just immaculate all game long. And obviously when you have Fed Jax, it's going to make it very easy to play that way out, but they also had Red-White for the fight. They knew they could win the tank fight. Canyon absorbs the culling. He absorbs so much of that damage with his Frozen Heart. And Peanut, yeah, he's got the same build going, but he is just not going to last as long against a red-white Aphelios, so he has to hightail it out there. Zeka's never in position to put Sand Soldiers down and do damage there or look for an Emperor's Divide, and Gen G, once again, just went out on neutrals. Keen, yeah, he had to use Teleport, Chovy as well, but it's a big win for them, and all the while, this Aphelios getting bigger and bigger, LDR on the way. This time, you got to stick the landing.
Yeah, well, it's another teleport to be used, this time on the side of Hanwha Life Esports. Doran was already here. And it is going to be a 5 versus 4, at least for the next few moments. Vision being gained. They cannot let Canyon get in here, and he is going to be pushed away. Bubble is fantastic, but he's still going to make it in and take away the Baron. Doran trying to get some work done now, but you can see it's not going to happen as now Keen finally makes it to the fight. Oh, it was so incredibly close. You knew the idea, you knew the theory, But in the end, Rel is just Rel. Oh God, now they've set themselves up a Sun Disc. But Gen G, they're just going to try and find what they can. Look at the long-range artillery of Pace, and also look at the dead Pace as he goes a little bit too far forward.
It was very cute that he was able to go in there and get that kill, but it will cost him his life. But they get the Baron, which is the bigger story here. And they did it without Keen. As you mentioned, he teleported, he showed bottom. It was a good call from Hanwha Life by all rights, and Delight played it right. He drops out the tidal wave, he hits the bubble, but they couldn't do the damage. They couldn't rush it down in time, and Canyon still hits the Rel combo, still steals it away. At least they'll be able to get a Hextech Drake very likely from this well. I say that Hextech Portals, also going to say that Jin, they can get here to contest.
It's back-to-back Hextech. And that does just mean the rotational capabilities of your champions just a little bit higher.
They just don't even get the Constellation Drake here, Atlas. They don't even get that. As look at how many tools are used to try to zone Canyon out.
I mean, this tidal wave and the bubble especially, just amazing. And then 300, and he walked over with a smite. So that was an honest 50-50. It wasn't any of this Rel shenanigans. But still, you got to land those. You're going to take the Hail Mary and not just go for the 5v4 that they had the opportunity to do.
Hayes is able to secure the kill here, which is very cool. And he gets a shutdown as well, 650. But
and then the rush of blood to the head.
And he walks downwards, and that's not the direction he should have gone. Probably would have died either way, but still, he got the shutdown. He's closer to his LDR, and
I like the vibes though.
Yeah,
like, it's a lot of aggression. And I like that from the young player, who's now going to move towards the bottom side of the map. Gonna have a look. You can see the goals just falling off a cliff here. As it's not the most massive Red Bull Baron power play right now, but 1800, nothing to scoff at. It's the first time that this gold lead's ever really moved anywhere. Because we were saying that Gen G won a fight, but there was 0 kills. There wasn't a lot of swing. It's more just positional advantage these teams have been fighting for. And Gen G did win out. Now with the Baron, this siege, especially in this 4-1, it is just kind of absurd.
It's the 7 turrets that they have that is so much of their gold. And, I mean, now just going to siege up this bottom inhibitor turret. Top is naked still.
Yeah, ulti is going to connect onto Canyon. That gets the ult out of Lehens. Very nicely done. So that's some cooldowns. And that means that Gen G might just decide to back away. The base, of course, already broken towards that top side. Global gold advantage. Now you can see that Baron power play moving towards that 3.2k. Far more respectable as it does tick down to nothing.
So Zeka has been given an opportunity to have the Azir game, right? He's got Crypt Bloom now completed. He had Leandri super early. He is so large, right? Chovy is caught up significantly in gold, actually also on 3 items right now, has Crypt Bloom and his Horizon Globe. But Zeka has not been able to have an impact in team fights just simply because the team fights haven't been straight up 5v5s. They've been an attempted Baron Hail Mary. They've been some posturing, right? Or a fight in a 4v1, right, against Chovy, who's sitting under a turret. He hasn't been able to do in 5v5s what this, now 3-item Azir is capable of doing. And if Gen G does continue to scale up with this Paze now as 3 items LDR, then I feel like his opportunities are kind of dwindling in terms of popping off as Azir, right? Because there's just so much to cut through. He has to deal with Jax, he has to deal with the Sejuani, and I don't know if the fact that he got 4 kills in this game will actually be relevant when the Nexus falls. If they don't make something happen on this next Dragon fight, I mean, I think that, or Baron potentially, if they can get the prio to actually start it up a second time here. And I mean, we've been saying this for a while, but this has continued to be true. Chovy did so much more, obviously, when he has the ability to just free fire from long range than what Azir can do when he's being chased away because he's trying to hold Baron aggro and try to secure it.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It's just so much more committal. Like you were saying, like it happens in a fully committed fight. You're going to see these big numbers out of Azir, but like you say, like Gen G been holding them at arm's length, trying to go for these position wars rather than too much else. And in that, Chovy just outranges, right?
Yeah.
Just keeps fishing for these abilities over and over again as soon as they're up and available. And he has too many of them, to be quite frank with you, because he's Sway, who just has a billion bucks that he can press. I know, it's still about as many abilities, but the fact that he has so much flexibility.
He has utility that Azir also has some utility too, right? But
often it's being used to stop Jax from diving onto everyone and killing them.
Yeah, or just engaging it. But you probably don't want to do that in this case either. Unless Paze makes a mistake, right? Or if you catch Chovy unawares, but Jovi is just staying so far away from everything. He's got insane wave clear. Here's a teleport coming down your bottom side.
Oh dear. Well, Peanut is himself to Sejuani.
I mean,
now
this is...
with Zeka dead, you can't defend, and these are going to be inhibitors that are going to fall down.
Viper flashless now as well. Great move there from Canyon. That's a flash trade you'll absolutely take. The 80 carry that's super low range doesn't have flash anymore. And yeah, you're not going to have flash to contest Baron or look for a steal, but you don't need to steal. You're the one who's got Baron control, and that is absolutely worth it. They can rush this down so quickly. And what are you going to do as Hanwha Esports? 30 seconds till Dragon. You can't even trade objectives. They look paralyzed on the Rift. And Zeka, he was just trying to silent. He's like, I'm tired of these waves crashing into our inhibitor turrets. I need to get down there. I need to do something. But it's just one teleport from Chovy and he's dead. Yeah, Canyon's on the right side of the map. He's chasing him down and then turn it into a easy Baron take. It feels like Gen G is playing 3D chess and Hanwha still playing checkers. It's 2D here because...
Well, they're going to be able to get everyone a red buff. So there is definitely that. This Drake is also up in 1 second's time. So the Baron was secured. They go for the reset and Hex Gate.
And they hold it, though.
Does kind of bring them back.
Yeah, I don't know if they can hold on to this. They're going to try to look for a pick, but I mean, they've already lost control.
I think going for a fight and actually trying to make this one a little bit more honest without the Dragon distracting them would be a good idea still. They're going to look for it as now Canyon moves in. He's moving extraordinarily fast. There's a decent ulti from Peanut as they do also get the tidal wave over the top. And now Keen has found the backline. Canyon has found himself the Drake. And yeah, Doran's just in the bouncy castle. Zeka once again going to get the same treatment as a few minutes ago. And Gen G, they're just taking everything now. Doesn't matter about too much more as the spiraling despair is named absolutely adequately. The light will go down. Viper now tries to clear out a wave, but these inhibitors, the last things really standing between Gen G and a 2-0 to get themselves back on the horse here in week 4.
Man, Zeka, his ult is one last Hail Mary ult, only hits the Jax, and Viper for the last to die here as the Nexus falls. Peanut looks at his former team as he is not winning this Saturday showdown. His team is 2-0. A big bounce back for Gen G after the loss to KT earlier this week. They will maintain their spot in second place. Of course, one win ahead of T1, who has a match to play tomorrow. But Gen G, very clean gameplay in terms of getting this Jax ahead and just running around the map. Didn't matter that Zeka was fed. He got to do nothing this game. There was absolutely no chance for him to be relevant on this Azir. He went full damage, didn't even build Zonia so he could look for deep dives into the back line, to look for Pays, to look for perhaps Chovy. He was just unfortunately trying to keep up with farm on this Jax and then never able to do anything in a 5v5 fight that never happened on their terms. The one fight that they could have maybe tried to turn earlier was that Baron attempt. They tried to hold the Baron, it's stolen away, and then there was never a real honest fight after that. Gen G winning an as dominant 2-0 as they lost to KT earlier this week.
I would say it's almost even more dominant, right?
Yeah.
Because even in the moments where we weren't seeing action, I felt like KT took the win, right? And they took it by force in team fights, and like it was all flashy, cool plays and stuff like that, often relatively high risk. This was being in better positions on the map, setting yourself up for exactly what your composition asks for as far as win conditions are concerned. And even though there was an Azir that got to 4-0, right? That could be a problem unless you manage to play it out the way that Gen G did. And yes, if that Baron flip had have potentially gone a different way, it could have been a different story. But they knew that Canyon is Rel. They're going to have to invest everything to try and keep him out of the pit. And the ensuing fight should belong to them after they tanked the Baron for that long. Like, there were so many of these checkmate moments.
Yeah, just not to mention that if you use a tidal wave, the bubble, all that stuff to try to keep Canyon out, you don't have it to secure your retreat, you know?
Yeah, right.
You're just going to die. They're going to be able to cut you off so easily. And, I mean, this felt like a macro lesson. Like, I feel like Gen G had, like, their chalkboard out there, were drawing lines and teaching Hanwha Life how to use the map, Summoner's Rift, because this was clean. And Gen G have done this for, like, the last 2 years, basically, and have only really been contested in terms of the macro by T1, right? Even when T1 was struggling, Faker had his injury, they were still really good at macro, especially after Faker returned, right? Then it was like, oh yeah, Faker's back, the macro is good, but...
And a lot of our questions were based on, like, where does it come from, right? And because like the macro shot callers that we thought were on the team are now on Hanwha.
Yeah.
And so it just shows that it's a culmination of a lot of the coaching staff on the side of Gen G, but also this synergy finally being found between these fantastic players that Gen G have put together on the Rift. I don't think it's the last that we see from Hanwha Life Esports as well, but I mean, Gen G definitely just better today.
It's crazy too when you consider the score is gone. Like, it's Coach Kim now. Like, this isn't even the same.
He's won some
head
coach,
coach.
well, man.
Yeah.
You know, like he's done all right. But Mata's there as well, right? Like a huge brain of the scene, of course, like revolutionizing the support role. Like there is a lot of brain on Gen G at this point in time.
And I think the proof here in concept for this comp was almost shown for Hanwha Life, but I think Doran losing out so hard meant that it was almost unplayable from the outset. And the fact that Zeka was given every tool is Azir's Christmas Day, childhood Christmas Day, where it's like so important. You're like, this is the greatest day of my life.
Yeah, it's like Nintendo 64.
Yeah, yeah.
Day, dude, yeah.
He's like, oh my god, 2 items! He's like drumming on his Leandries, and then he just can't do anything because he's never given a proper team fight. It wasn't even like Zeka had bad mechanical plays this game. That wasn't what this was about. It wasn't like, if anyone's like, oh, Zeka, you had 4 kills but did nothing, lol. No, Gen G didn't let him do anything. He had no agency, he had no opportunity.
Yeah, and it just shows that this way answer to the Azir is another one that players can put into their back pocket, make this all work out. Listening in now on Gen G as they just honestly steamroll over the top of Hanwha Life Esports in these final moments.
Chovy with the nice critics there, but it doesn't matter because it's the old. So great to watch this.
Well, maybe there might have been like some sort of little call out there to delight, but there wasn't. They just take him down and they move on forward.
Almost looked bored.
Yeah, and I think at this stage of the game, I imagine there was a lot of fun stuff before, and the sigh of relief will definitely still be there with the takedown of this Nexus, but I think after their loss to KT, it's a lot more business here for Gen G on the road.
So let's hit him. And Lance, like, this game was so unfun. Like, I mean, they won the game so early and then just basically never lost it.
And that's like, it's funny because Lance just likes the insanity. That's what he wants. He wants all of the games that have all the weird stuff, not just the clean stuff.
I don't want any more of this Lucian drafting. Just get it out of my LCK, please.
Yeah.
Don't make Viper do this. Like, it's Viper.
I thought it was like the Senna Nautilus with the Lucian answer that was the problem, but maybe it's just Lucian. Maybe it's just Lucian that's the problem.
I don't want it anymore. It's past its prime.
D+ and DRX are coming up, and hopefully they are just going to get out of the way of that one. But now it is time to throw it over to the space to break down our Saturday Showdown.
Thank you, casters, for that wonderful cast during Saturday Showdown. Unfortunately, I think the next match will have even more inclusion, if that's possible, if we do get to Game 3. But yeah, this game number 2 of Gen G versus Hanwha Life Esports, very much so a beatdown from the side of Gen G. There were some moments for Hanwha Life Esports, but as Wolf was talking about, I feel like, especially in a macro sense, this was just very one-sided.
It seemed like the biggest enemy of Gen G was Pace, because he has so much range. Lance, because he's just getting bored, diving turrets, trying to flank Emilio. It was rough. I think that even with some of the moments, like Zeka getting fed early on, never really felt like they were able to take control.
The least impactful corners here I've seen, and it really is the lose gem at the moment. I think he's got 1 game, 1 win so far, like 7, 8 losses at this point. It's not cutting it, and especially when you have drafts like this, where like, okay, Jax is immediately going to be bulky because he's obviously got his counter-strike, he builds all the resistances, the Rel is super tanky, and then you have so many, like, it's so hard to dash in. We kind of saw this yesterday when Bull was trying to dash in on Lucian up against Valios, and you just get so much threat on you, and against her way as well, it's just a struggle. And I just feel like they didn't really have a super good way to engage. The only real way you had was like the Sejuani, and there's the Millie ult to counteract that. So the game was kind of just slow until Hanwha Life Esports said, hey, let's send the Baron. And
against Rel, we've seen how that one ends. And I think, everyone, and I think Justified was talking about Viper being stuck. Also, pouring out from my boy Delight, had as good as a Nami game as I think you could reasonably expect her, and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? This man is, I still think, the best engage support specifically. Obviously, when it comes to champion, Keria is on my side. His engage support is so good. and then he's stuck playing Nami, and he plays a really clean Nami. He gets a bubble and a wave, and then he's the only one trying to keep...
It's so tragic. The only Nautilus game we got was Peanut and not the Light. that kind of grinds my gears. You even got some sick plays than Nami, but it's not the pick that's going to have the same impact. And I think that really hurt them.
It's the reverse Kwangdong. It's only the bot side that's doing well. And obviously, early season Kwangdong, because Bull is good, which...
I mean, we were saying this about Execute yesterday as well. We want to see him on an engaged support, but it's part of Lucian being in the meta. It's part of, a lot of enchanters, right? You got Lucian Nami, you got Milio to counter it.
They could not pick Lucian. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, that's going to happen. Let's take a look at highlight number 1, which, again, trying to do the Baron against the Realm.
Yeah, and it's actually, watch what the Light does here. So he gets the ult and actually manages to get this great double bubble to disengage. But unfortunately, you get Emilio who just cleanses the Rel. No one else is even trying to keep the Rel away.
And it goes down, Kane smites it. Peanut still has a smiter, but Kane is the one setting up the play, right? So he smites Q. Timing isn't 100% perfect, but it's good enough. And Zeka, at that point, had his ultimate available. If after that bubble, they're actually able to keep the Rel out of the pit, it might have worked. He chooses to DPS and try and do as much damage and rush down Baron instead, but I am really getting tired of teams just flipping Baron against Rel specifically. And then, when Pace... Yeah, when Pace and Lahens decide to both have some fun, Lahens forever survives with the flash like Milio Pace does. It doesn't even matter, right? Like, at this point in the game, it's basically done.
Yeah. Watching it back, it kind of stuns you, And I think if you're going to start a Baron in a situation, you need a full plan of how it's going to play out. And
like Cassante.
It feels like this was a very shallow idea. Oh, Delight, you can do it. You can stop them from getting in. Oh, wait, they have Emilio. Never mind. And I feel like you need like a more of a contingency plan in that situation. Who's going to play interruption? You can see they were prepared. As you said, Zaka wasn't anywhere near. No one else was really playing interrupt. And it was just the fact you can walk up is too easy.
Walked right down the bowling alley and just had some Rel fun. We can take a look at the second highlight as well. Also having to do with Baron, but this one was very well timed before the Baron was spawning. They looked for a play on the bottom side of the map.
And the nice thing here is that they have rewards, so they're aware of Peanut already being there, meaning that Keen can evade the gank and then be completely fine. And the moment they see that Hex Gate and they have to teleport toward, they're like, this is so free. And there isn't really an opportunity to respond because obviously Genji already has prio in mid, so the rest of Genji is already there. And then Zeka ends up dying. And I think this was a highlight too because, we need to have something to show you. But really, I think this point in the game is already kind of requiring miraculous hold, but
I feel like it's kind of indicative of some of the issues we've seen because Game 1 had a similar situation. It was a different part of the game, but when they got committed 5 members to top, and end up losing mid and bot tower for it. And I feel like Life Esports just look a little bit lost on the map, which I think really hurts them. Because the fact that they had this 4-0 Azir, I think if you gave 4-0 Azir to Genji, they would have really looked to steamroll this game. Kind of how we saw with Chovy being fed Game 1, how much they took the game into their control. But here, even when it's Life Esports, they seem very lost. And moments like that, what was the goal of Zeka pushing up that far? Anyone?
The enemies were on the other end of the map.
Yeah.
So he could push in another wave.
Oh yeah, another wave.
Teleport's been nerfed.
Game winning.
Changed many times.
your corpse. Everybody dies. Some just need a little help. Fear not. I will make use of your corpse.
go chart, playing dice, go starter. Who are you? Better know yourself. Know your soul, better know your wealth. Slow your roll, get a hold, don't melt it. Don't you fall when I feel like hell. Oh, who am I? Am I me? I'm not the one you wanna fuck with. Late nights messing up my sleep, so I'm flustered. Taking out aggression with my pen because I trust it. Writing, trying to get myself a lamb color cuss for the game. From hanging by a chain, click bang. Feeling rage, feeling fire in my brain, feel insane. And it's time to feel the flame. 45 to my brain, praying more and please hell, no glory. Color custard. This a war zone, homie. Say you ready and prepared. Take a minute, make them aware. While I be sneaking in the back with a drum and clap, coming like a vet. I've been crawling through the mud where the vision saw clearly. Born a shepherd to these sheep. Make them fear me. This is war zone. Finish that lady house. Nothing ever give it. How long can you twerk for? I'm in the strip club that you work for. You a beast type of hoe you get murked for. I can tell a lot about a girl on the first fuck. How long can you twerk for? I'm in the strip club that you work for. You a beast type of hoe you get murked for. Fat boy shot, she'll rock them J days. How long can you twerk for? I'm in the strip clubs that you work for. You a beast type of hoe you get murked for. I can tell a lot about a girl on the first fuck. How long can you twerk for? I'm in the strip clubs that you work for. You a beast type of hoe you get murked for. I can tell a lot about a girl on the first fuck. How long can you twerk for? How long can you twerk for? How long can you twerk for? I can tell a lot about a girl on the first fuck. How long, 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 how long? Fat boy shot, she'll rock them J days.
아니 나 대치해야 돼 전혀 이거.
야, 발길이 없어. 발길이 없어.
제리. 야 끝내기 갖고 와. 프로틴. 야 끝났어. 야 믿어. 이거 막아. 얘들아 이거 뭐해. 막아줘. 야 가. 박어. 이겼어. 여기까지. 자 말린 걸. 나이스. 아 너무 잘했다 얘들아. 진짜. 개파스 타는데? 너무 잘했다 진짜 너. 성우랑 타도 있잖아.
기분이 있어요. 우리가 나옵니다. 그리고 1대1 만들어냈어요, 지금. 케빈이 뽕 이대로 넥서스를 깨면서 할수 있잖아요, 160.
우리가 아질자로 무시하는 픽하는 거 어때? 내 생각 할수 있을 것 같아 너가 봐. 근데 안 해본 거 따라서 우리 항상 그렇게 해야 돼.
아카데미아 인력공단의 감독 됐습니다. 아 그리고 벌써 시도까지 조심해야 돼요. 벌써 시작부터 그냥 빌드업을 하는 거죠. 바텀 라인전 루시안 다미가 압박하지 못하게 말씀하신 대로 빌드업하면서 간만 가는 길을 좀 선택한 것 같고요.
이거 반갈하려고 한다. 근데 이거 바텀 다이브 설계한다고 했을 때 누굴라나?
아니 우리가 1레벨 빌드 좀 잘하면 될 것 같은데?
루시안 좀 많이 아픈데요. 라이브 압박.
다이브 생각해야 돼. 이거 정해팀이
다이브야.
무조건 다이브. 맞다.
이거는 남의 입장에서 좀 화났는데요. 남이 오나요? 그래서 뭐 실교환을 어느 정도 했다는 부분에 미안 삼아야 될까요? 물론 좀 마음이 아파 보이긴 하는데.
바텀 정면으로 갈게.
노틸 잡아도 우리 한명 죽을 수 있거든? 미드를 봐 계속 미드를 봐. 좋아. 내가 미드 지금 한번 빡 떼올게.
이거 깊었는데. 이지고 나를 없나요? 그래도 이야! 이차 키보드 승부수를 크게 던졌습니다.